Watching the cheerful musician and listening to his message of hope, it's hard to imagine this 35-year-old once struggled with depression. Meet Dr. Prasad from Bangalore, India. He holds the world record for traveling to the highest number of countries in the shortest period of time. How long did he take to accomplish the feat? 6 years, 6 months and 22 days. There are 245 different stamps in his passport, some repeated. This was obtained at Antarctica, the coldest continent on Earth. A memorable stop that Benny recalls with fondness, Pitcairn Island in the South Pacific, one of the most remote and least populous places in the world.
I reached there by boat, which took me about 2 days from Mangareva in French Polynesia. I got to do a performance for 52 people in that country. And it was the first ever concert, they said, that in around 200 years.
Featured on television and in newspapers across the globe, the talented musician has performed almost everywhere he traveled, including at international events like the FIFA World Cup and Olympic Games. Along the way, he's met several heads of state. Among his strategies for successful globetrotting,
the biggest challenge for any traveler is loneliness. I was able to overcome because I stay with people. I stay with families everywhere I go. I don't stay in hotels unless it's the law of the land. Fellowshipping with people, living their lifestyle and enjoying the culture.
Another tip, he sleeps well on flights, avoiding jet lag. Benny is the inventor of this unique instrument called a benta. It merges a guitar with bongo drums and a 14-string harp. The composer traveled widely with it, focusing on promoting peace and hope through his music. In late 2009, he realized that breaking a world record was an accomplishment well within his reach. And just before the start of the new decade, he made history. Determined not to pay a single bribe, the musician was sometimes made to wait at borders or blocked from performing. But the devout Christian wouldn't have it any other way. Born into a high-achieving family, he was once called a worthless and useless child because his grades were poor and he suffered from extreme ill health.
I was born with asthma, and at the age of 2, I was given high dosage of cortisone steroids, which I took for 14 years, which damaged 60% of my lungs, and my immune system broke down. I was a failure completely. Everyone said that you will never be able to fly. So my dream was to go to one country in my lifetime.
Today, he is the pride of his family, and he is always ready to encourage those who are battling low self-esteem.
I'm a very ordinary person. I'm not a great musician or a great personality, but I just want to tell you that if God could use an ordinary person like me, today He has a plan for your life.
His music is really amazing, and especially he's very skillful.
I was very touched by his story.
I have never seen an instrument like the one he uses.
morning. Sorry, just still getting, is that good? Yes. Well, my eyes are still burning actually. I've been traveling non-stop and arrived from Abu Dhabi this morning at 5. And then I had a pre-arranged performance at a church in Mumbai this morning and finished that and rushed to the airport, and I'm happy I made it in time here. But the reason I'm here is to share a value that I really believe, that we are humans and not machines. It's very, very challenging in a society that we live in, that where competition becomes so much that even we forget that we are humans. I tell a lot of families, the same thing is dream the dreams of God for your children. It was not so with my life. My father was an aerospace scientist, and mom worked for the radio station, and they had this high expectation, me being the firstborn in the family. And because of asthma, and as you heard my story, with wrong medication, it came to a point at 16 when the doctors told Benny, you will only live for 6 months. There is no more hope. Already a friend of mine, my classmate, he died in 9th standard, and I was next in line. I knew that. And this was my life. When everybody were planning their future at 16, I had to think, how will I spend my 6 months before I die? And I want to thank God for hope. It's so beautiful. I love the term hope. When I travel today, I really see hope. I see hope for wild tigers. I see hope for everyone if we really make a difference there. But it was tough. And at 16, I even contemplated to commit suicide. Having called worthless, useless, everything was written off from my life. And I want to tell you, my young friends, suicide is never the answer to any problem in any difficult situation. Suicide is never a victorious act. No way. No matter how tough it gets, no. But I want to thank God. For me, this was the most turning point at 16 when I had an encounter with Jesus. I heard his voice saying, even though you are called useless, I can transform your life and make you a new person. That was the start of my journey. And I'm thankful to God for this life that I've already surpassed the expiry date that the doctors had put on my life. I'm 36 years old. And if I could find hope and if I could find purpose like this today, there is hope and purpose for everybody seated there. And I'm going to play a song and then carry on with these words. People come and ask, I've never seen a guitar like this. How did it come about? The idea of the guitar came about because I wanted to share my story. That's the only reason the idea came. Of course, I went for music lessons when I was 15, and on the first day, the teacher told me not to come back anymore. He says, you have no talent of music. You can't clap to the right beat or sing to the right tune. So please don't come. Education-wise, teachers called my parents and said, your son is worthless and we don't like to have useless children like him. Those days there's a saying, no matter how bad you are not totally useless. You can always be used as a bad example. And I was always used as a bad example. But I want to thank God that he picked up from the grave, from nothing, and put me on a place like this. So I started to play guitar when I was 19. Picked up broken strings, a broken guitar, tied those broken strings, put them on the guitar. In spite of arthritis, I did not give up. I did not have room for excuses. Didn't have money to buy a set of strings, so I used broken strings. Every day I practiced 7 hours, and in 2 months, I was transformed a musician. And that's where it started off. In 2004, when I was invited to play for the official welcoming of South African athletes at the Olympic Games in Greece, I was strictly warned that you can only play music and not talk. Today, I share my story is because it's a story of hope. It's a story of transformation. It is not a story of trying to climb the ladder, but it is a story of seeing hope being restored, from being crushed, being transformed today. And when I share this story, it really brings hope. And so I ask God to help me to design a guitar the world has never seen, so that people will be attracted to come and look at the guitar. And in turn, when they ask me questions, I can share my story back to them. At the age of 12, I had a dream to be an Olympic champion. I was a very good athlete. Unfortunately, I was hit by a javelin accidentally. And my spine was hit and it was messed up. So I had to quit all my sporting activities. And once the lungs deteriorated, I could not even climb the ladder properly. But to come back to that dream was so beautiful. And so this is the song I played called Shout to the Lord. It took me 2,000 hours of practice for this 4-minute song. When we work hard, God will honor us. You want to stand up for justice and truth? It's good to have rallies, but I want to tell you that it starts within us. I was sitting with the Liberian vice president. I said, sir, I've been to 50 African countries, never given bribe even once. 44% of my travel in Africa I did by road. Many times airlines went bankrupt. Every time I cross a border, they want $1. I refuse to pay. 22 hours of journeying from Guinea-Bissau to Guinea-Conakry. Tiring journey. And the last segment, they just want $1. I said, no, you will not get. I would rather lose my achievement, my concert, but not my character. And I want to challenge each one of you that if we all stand up for that justice, for that truth, you will see our nation transformed. And today I've done that. I've traveled to every single country in this world, every continent, never paid bribe. I was sent back from the border from Mozambique to Swaziland. As a result, I lost my concert. I was willing to lose my concert, but not my character, as I said. Today I can tell the world it is possible. It is possible to see hope in Africa. It's possible to see hope in our nation, in India. And as I play this song, this is a song of hope for me. And this is one thing I want to shout out to the world is let's make a difference. It's not about selfish ideas saying how quickly can I finish this race, but it is how clean can I finish this race here on this earth. And I could do that. I could do that. And if I can do that, anybody here could do that. So enjoy this piece. from being told that I will never be a musician, if my dreams can come true. Today, in our nation, everyone has a dream, and with the help of God, we can have our dreams come true. This is my one passport. For those who can see, you can see. Others, you can just imagine. This passport is Indian passport. You know, I love my country. I have not run away to another country and I didn't get another citizenship. I was offered 4 different citizenships from different countries to make my travel easy. My friends, we have to see our nation transformed, which means we need the best to be invested back. And here I'm talking to students of technology, which means you have to come back and invest here. It's not about how quickly can I become rich and comfortable. No. So I've stuck to my Indian passport. It was tough. Places I've been deported, places I've been held for 3-4 hours. They did for no reason, just because I have an Indian passport. But I did not give up. God created me an Indian, and I love my country, and everywhere I go today, I am proud to be an Indian. And I use my passport to go and share that to the world. And today, that's what I want to speak into your lives. Invest back into our country to see our nation transformed, to see how corruption will be rid of, to see how the rural community will come up. It's not about a selfish act. I could have done with my guitar, I could have mass produced and made a name for myself. But what will I do with that? How long will I go with a name for myself? But rather, when I make an investment into another person's life, I find it more satisfying. It is a blessing to give than to receive. When I took 66 hours of flying time going and coming to Antarctica, when I went there with my guitar and I performed for the scientists, they were almost in tears. They said people come to Antarctica for the selfish reasons of looking at the beauty. But they said this was amazing that you came to perform for us and to share your story. And it brought a smile into their faces. That is more than enough for me. I travel around the world is for that reason. Went to Pitcairn Island. I really am not a sea guy. That is my world map of my travels. And went to this small little country. It's a dependency of UK. And they have a population of 66 people. It takes 2 days by boat, and once in 3 months is the boat. Why do I want to go so far? Invest my money. Why? Because those 66 people are precious. They're important. Don't just think that people who are influential are only important. No, every human is important. And I value them. So when I went there, I went and did the first ever concert in 200 years, and 52 people showed up for the concert. That's 80% of the country that came for the concert. And so from the small little places to going into the Olympic Games or the FIFA World Cup or the military games, it doesn't make a difference for me. Today I've traveled not to make money. In fact, every concert that I have done in my life, never even charged once. And I've never ever been in debt. I live a very simple life, and for me, making a difference in the life of a human matters more than trying to build my own musical career. And I want to challenge each one of you, my friends, don't give up. Comparison will steal the joy of your life. Each one of you are called and created for a purpose. You were created to be a blessing. You are more than an expectation. You're more than a gold medal. Not everyone can be able to fulfill the expectation of their teachers or their parents. But I want to tell you that you are more than an expectation. Don't ever think of quitting life. Your life is more precious than just technology. And today I thank God. My father and my mother, they look at me, they're proud of my life. They're happy that I am happy doing what I'm doing. That is what matters at the end. And that's what makes the difference when I travel around the world. Sometimes in a day I'm in 4 countries. It's tiring. Day before yesterday I had to sign 1,000 autographs. It's not easy, but at the same time, putting a smile into another person, speaking a value into their life, fulfills my purpose, where consider others better than yourself. If you want to do something good to others, you have to see that you do that to others so that they will also do to you. Do unto others what you expect them to do to you. Simple things that have made a difference in my life. And I want to encourage each one of you. This can be my story. Having a dream to go to one country, and here I've traveled to every country on earth. Never thought of the world record. That was not my dream. But in 2009, I found out about the world record. And on 22nd of November 2010, when I arrived in Karachi, Pakistan, I broke the world record and became the fastest man to travel to every country in the shortest time. And it is possible. It is possible for us to live a clean life, a righteous life, a life of justice, a life of purpose. You don't have to, for me, the difference between success and excellence. Success means being the best, and we are not necessarily best throughout our life. There will be somebody who will come above you. Excellence is being your best, the way you were created. That matters more, is being your best. Giving out what you can with your life, making a difference for yourself and for the community out there. That makes the biggest thing. I just want to close with this story. When I went to Tibet, I had to perform for 100 orphan girls. And it was a challenge. With 40% lungs, if I collapse, there is no medication there. It was an altitude of 4,677 meters above sea level. My friend said, Benny, please don't do that. It's going to really affect your health and you might not even make it through. I said, if I can reach to that point and speak value into these girls, 100 girls being sold as slaves, they've been rescued. To go and speak value and hope as a world record holder would really bring purpose into their life. They can find hope saying, if Benny, being a worthless child, could really come to this level, each one of them can see hope. That brought more satisfaction for me rather than playing at the World Cup or the Olympic Games. And that's what matters for me more than anything else. So rather than trying to make a name for yourself, take this as a challenge, saying, how can I put a smile on another person? How can I make a difference for another person who is less fortunate than me? God bless you all.